Now, Standard 9, in the last class, we had come to know that Shylock very bluntly tells Antonio that if you were the last person also, we would never, the money lenders or the Jews, would never give you any help or would not give you any money. Then Antonio in reply says, Shylock, albeit I neither lend nor borrow. He says, now Shylock, let me give you one information. I am that kind of a person that I neither lend nor borrow, by taking nor by giving of excess. He says, I give money, but I never charge any kind of interest. Excess here means interest. Yet to supply the ripe wants of my friend, I'll break a custom. Is he yet possessed? How much he would. Now, Antonio also is very blunt. He says, I am a kind of a person, I neither borrow nor lend. And even if I lend money, when I am taking the money back, I do not charge any interest. But today, because my friend is desperately in need of money, so I am breaking this custom of mine, this type of principles which I have in my life. So I'm breaking it just to fulfill his needs. And how much are you going to give us the money? How much he has asked for? Shylock, I 3,000 ducats. Antonio, and for 3 months. Now they're being very precise. The amount is 3,000 ducats. The time to be returned is, to pay back is 3 months. And Shylock, I had forgot. 3 months? You told me so. Well then, your bond, and let me see. But hear you, methought, you said you neither lend nor borrow upon advantage. Okay. Then Shylock is trying to pretend, oh yes, 3 months and 3,000 ducats. Okay. But then you will have to sign the bond. So now again, let me remind you, I thought you said you neither lend nor borrow upon advantage, means without taking any interest. Antonio, I do never use it. He says, I never take advantage of anyone's desperate condition. When they need the money, I give the money and then they pay back the capital. I don't charge any interest. Now, Shylock is trying to justify himself. Okay, please listen to this very carefully. Okay. Now, according to the allegations Shylock had put against Antonio, why he hates him, and why Antonio always feels that Shylock charges interest and he is committing a sin. Okay. Now, to justify his actions, Shylock is quoting something from the Bible. Okay. Now, when Jacob grazed his uncle Laban's sheep, okay. Now this is a story from the Bible. Jacob was one of the prophets. When he was young, okay, he was working under his uncle by the name of Laban. He was taking care of his sheep. This Jacob from our holy Abraham was, as his wise mother thought in his behalf, the third possessor. He was the third. Now, in this story, Jacob was the third son of Abraham. Okay. But his mother played a trick and made Jacob the next heir to Abraham, means he holds the title or controls the family after the death of Abraham. So here he is trying to take out fault what Jacob did with his uncle and what Jacob did with his father in conspiracy with his mother. He became the next possessor after Abraham. Antonio, and what of him? Did he take interest? So all the Christians know actually what is this particular story about. I'll make it very clear with you. Okay. Now this is not a course where you must think that some conversion is taking place. Okay, it is just a discrimination between the Jews and the Christians. The Jew has been condemned by a Christian, Antonio, that he is committing a sin. Now, Shylock is trying to justify himself and is referring to the Bible because he wants Antonio to know that he is not cheating anybody. Okay. No, not take interest, not as you would say, directly interest. Mark what Jacob did when Laban and himself were compromised, that all the younglings which were streaked and pied should fall as Jacob's hire. Now, this story of Jacob and Laban was like this. Laban had a lot of sheep, okay, and he recruited Jacob to work for him in his farm, and he was not going to pay him any money as a salary. In fact, he says now any newborn lamb, if they are born with a stripe or a spot, that will be yours. Okay. Now, that was a term and condition or an agreement made between Laban and Jacob. The ewes being ranked in the end of autumn turned to the rams. And when the work of generation was between these woolly breeders in the act, the skillful shepherd filled me certain wants, and in the doing of the deed of kind, he stuck them up before the fulsome ewes, who then conceiving did in yearning time fall pashy colored lambs, and those were Jacob's. This was a way to thrive, and he was blessed, and a thrift is blessing of men, steal it not. This is now when, according to this agreement, Jacob played his uncle dirty. So, whenever a lamb was about to be born, what he would do, he would place some planks of wood in the place where the lamb would be born, and then gradually, what happens? A stripe would or a spot would come onto the lamb. And it so happened that Jacob started prospering. As time flew by, Jacob had more lambs or more sheep than his uncle. And in this way, Jacob became richer than his uncle. So there was a foul play. Yet, this is mentioned in the Bible. It says, you do not consider the action of Jacob wrong, yet you condemn me that whatever I am doing is wrong. He says, now, If you thrive in your business, it's a blessing from God. But if you steal it, means if you use unfair means, then that is not the right way, and you people do not consider the action of Jacob wrong. Now, that was the way in which Shylock had cornered Antonio. Now, Antonio, in his reply, says this was a venture, sir, that Jacob served for, a thing not in his power to bring to pass. So, now let me inform you that this was already written in the Bible that if Jacob would ever prosper, it would be in this way. Jacob's prosperity was not in his hands. So, in this way, Antonio has justified the action of Jacob by saying it was God's plan. God had decided Jacob's future, and this was the fashion, or this was the way in which Jacob would make some prosperity, or if Jacob becomes rich, this was the way Jacob would be. Or this is the way Jacob had to work or play foul in order to be prosperous. Now I shall keep it till here and proceed in the next class. Thank you.